Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 33rd Annual ArtsNL Arts Awards Gala, the Labrador West Arts and Culture Center in beautiful Labrador City. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Bailey White. I'm going to be your host tonight. My day job, I'm the co-host of CBC Radio's Labrador Morning. The operative word there is morning. This is the exact opposite of when I'm used to performing. I'm not used to performing at this hour. I'm not even used to being up at this hour. So I do hope that you'll bear with me through this evening. I was so honored and so thankful to be asked to host this night's event because I am a Labradorian. I'm from Happy Valley Goose Bay. Round of applause. Who here is actually no, not for Happy Valley Goose Bay, although I do appreciate it. Who here is from Labrador? By a round of applause. And who came from somewhere else tonight? Okay, so about even split. So a couple of things for the newcomers. First of all, welcome to the big land. We are so thankful that you made the journey up here. I think it's fair to say that it means a lot to people that you would come all this way. You know, I know there are a number of beautiful venues on the island where you could have this night, but you came here and that says something, so thank you for that. A couple of things I should tell you about. It's not big, but Labrador City, not technically a city, just if you're wondering. And if you drove here, you know, the Trans-Labrador Highway, not technically a highway either. Just a little clever branding that we do to bring you here. And we are glad you're here. I said welcome, right? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm from Happy Valley Goose Bay, which is the other big, not a city in Labrador. So we're kind of rivals. It's like Mount Pearl and St. John's, or like Shelbyville and Springfield, you know? We're the only ones, you know, our hockey teams play against each other, basketball teams, things like that. So even though we're 700 kilometers apart, they are our rivals. But you know, as I got older, I have come to appreciate the finer things that Labrador West has to offer. There's a lot here that, frankly, we just don't have in Happy Valley Goose Bay. Some of this might seem small, especially if you come from St. John's, but for instance, look, the biggest thing that we in Happy Valley Goose Bay covet about what they've got in Labrador West is McDonald's. They've got the McDonald's. We don't have that. What we do have is we have at least 2 places where you can get a hot dog on one of those rolly things. Hot dog, any day of the week you want it, we can get it for you. The other thing is like the shopping. The shopping is better here. Walmart, Canadian Tire, Mark's Oak Warehouse. We don't have any of that stuff in Happy Valley Goose Bay. We have a store called Riffs. You guys remember Riffs? I say remember because Riffs only exists in places where there aren't other stores. Riffs is where you go if you need a tie in an emergency, or like a really good pair of rubber boots. So that's where we do our shopping in Happy Valley Goose Bay. Of course, the biggest difference between Labrador West and Happy Valley Goose Bay is the industry. Here in Labrador West, they have the IOC mine. And I know times are a little tough right now because there is a strike going on, but you know what? That is going to end, and things will get back to normal, and the work will continue. If you're not from here, you don't know IOC. It's an iron ore mine, and it's an open pit, and they just rake in the money. They make so much money in that open pit mine. Happy Valley Goose Bay, we have Muskrat Falls, which is a different kind of money pit. But you know what? Muskrat Falls has really been a boon to the steel-toe boot industry. Steel-toe boots really flying off the shelves in Happy Valley Goose Bay. I don't know if you know that, but that's one sector of the economy where they're really making money. In fact, these are steel-toed high heels. You probably didn't know that you could get steel-toed high heels, but you probably haven't been to Riffs in a while either. So we're really glad that you came all the way to Labrador. I hope this helps you get initiated and understand a little bit about us up here. I have a couple of housekeeping notes too. First of all, if you can make sure that your cell phone ringers are off, feel free to keep them on. Feel free to tweet #NL Arts. Just make sure those ringers are off. If there is any need to leave in an emergency, if a brawl breaks out between the Happy Valley Goose Bay people and the Lab City people. It's right out here, just even before you get back to the green room, on the right there is the emergency exit. And here's a little more about how things will unfold tonight. There will be 7 awards presented throughout the show, and we should say congratulations to all the finalists, ladies and gentlemen. A round of applause for the finalists. These awards give us a terrific opportunity to get a glimpse into the busy past year and the careers of many talented professional and emerging artists and groups, as well as organizations right throughout Newfoundland and Labrador. Tonight, the members of the professional artistic community come together to celebrate just some of the many achievements that have occurred in our provincial, professional, arts, and cultural sector across all disciplines. In the last 12 months, our community and the province has also lost some creative talents. And later this evening, our tradition of reflecting back on those lives lived will continue. We'll also be making our annual induction into the ArtsNL Hall of Honor and celebrating the ArtsNL Patron of the Arts. But right now, it gives me a great pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Stan Hill, ArtsNL's chair, to bring greetings and share a little more about ArtsNL.
Thank you, Bailey. Good evening, everyone. A warm welcome from myself and the ArtsNL staff and organization. Special, so I can see what I'm doing here. A special welcome to Mr. Graham Leto, MHA for Lab West, and other guests, including Mayor Button from Lab City here, Crystal Fahey from Bank of Montreal, BMO, and Karen Pavel-Feuer from Memorial University, as well as Jerry Osmond, our Director of Arts and Heritage, and the rest of the ladies and gentlemen. Every year, I look forward to updating people on what ArtsNL has done over the past year, and the opportunity it brings, and greetings on behalf of everyone at Newfoundland Labrador Arts Council. ArtsNL's provincial scope that we look forward to taking their annual celebration to a location outside of every St. John's every second year. And of course, this year, I'm thrilled to be giving this address from here in Lab City, my first time here visiting. Though ArtsNL hosted the province's first Indigenous Arts Symposium called To Light the Fire in 2016 in Happy Valley Goose Bay, it was time for awards to make a return to Labrador. The last time the awards were here in Labrador was in 2010, so the time was right. Some of the activities of ArtsNL in this past year especially, but leading up in January was a very important one. ArtsNL and their digital transition process to our new online application system, open for pre-registration. The uptake has been good and the response has been excellent. At the beginning of this month, the online application system started accepting applications, starting with the Professional Artist Travel Fund, which is open to everyone in the province. If you have artists that are traveling, you can apply to this fund. Contact the office for more information. As of now, grant applications for all ArtsNL programs going forward will have to come through this new paperless online application system. The ArtsNL program staff is there to support applicants, and in tandem with the rollout of the new online application system, we have produced several step-by-step guide videos for each of our program application processes. Those are available on our YouTube channel. I will reflect back because I started off with something I was supposed to do. And in many events happening now, we have a tendency to acknowledge where we are. So Newfoundland Labrador has had a host of Indigenous people throughout the province over the many, many years. We go back thousands of years as far as we're concerned. On the island portion, we certainly have the Beatuck, which you will, and the Mi'kmaq population is there. But in this part of the province, the Innu, the Inuit, the Southern Inuit comprise what is here now. But it also is comprised also of the Maritime Archaic and Paleo Eskimo. And there is something on the go that's called recent Indians, but I'm not quite sure what that is. But anyhow, that was the acknowledgement that I meant to do at the beginning. ArtsNL staff will always be available to assist applicants with accessibility and broadband connectivity issues. We understand that is an issue up here, and we will work our best to give anyone help that wants to apply to our programming or anything else that they need from ArtsNL. The staff is there to help. Not only will our new online application system make the application process easier and more accessible, It will also have a considerable environmental impact, being that we won't be printing as much stuff on paper, and especially in the process of jurying, that can be pretty lengthy sometimes. ArtsNL's almost complete digital transition project also includes fully equipped video conferencing capabilities. This has created the opportunity for ArtsNL to ensure that the Council's peer assessment committee and the assessment meetings are conducted in a more cost-efficient manner. And to the latter part of that, it means that we are able to involve more peer assessors from every corner of the province and from across Canada. So when we are doing our juries, we try to have a wide variety of jurors present. In support of that desire, peer assessment committee meetings now always involve a balanced mix of rural and urban-based artists and arts professionals, and also includes those with Indigenous and Francophone backgrounds. ArtsNL also continues to listen and communicate with the professional arts and cultural professional community through the social media presence. In the coming months, we plan to diversify and expand on the content that we make available online. And we will be advertising that through our current social media platforms. Our YouTube channel's content now includes on-demand grant programming information sessions, specially catered to our new online application system. That library will continue to grow as programs deadlines approach. We also have videos on how grant applicants acknowledge ArtsNL should they receive funding. That's an important part of our process. There's also archived videos of past award presentations and award galas that we have had for various entities, such as the Winterset Book Awards and that. To ensure that no matter where you are in Newfoundland and Labrador, there is equal access to live person delivered information sessions, walkthroughs, and past ArtsNL events. To keep informed, we invite you to follow us along on Twitter, Facebook, Google+, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Those are the platforms we use currently. As we will continue to develop and deliver new content and information. Throughout their year, ArtsNL manages a number of other awards, including the BMO Winterset Award, in partnership with BMO Bank of Montreal, and the Richard Gwynn representing the Sandra Fraser Gwynn Foundation. In March, writer Joel Thomas Hines won the 2017 Winterset Award for his novel, We'll All Be Burnt in Our Beds Some Night. It was an excellent read, and leading up to that night, we have an event at the rooms where we bring those writers in and they actually read excerpts from their books. It's greatly animated, and it's a great event. If you're ever in town when it happens and attend, it's worthwhile. ArtsNL also manages the Rhonda Payne Theatre Award, and this year it was presented to Sharon King Campbell. As well, we also manage the Lawrence Jackson Writers Award, and we'll hear more about that later this evening. Looking forward to 2019, ArtsNL has taken a lead role working with the Atlantic Public Art Funders, that is the regional group of the Canadian Public Art Funders, to organize the third regional Indigenous Art Symposium. This event continues to grow and enjoy high attendance and participants who gather to share their cultural artistic techniques, learn more about resources and supports available to help artists grow their professional practice, as well as an excellent opportunity to network with fellow artists. ArtsNL is pleased to announce tonight that a third Badabin, the symposium name, is in the planning stages and will be held in St. John's in June of 2019. I also wish to take this time to thank and acknowledge the hard work and participation of our council members. They are involved in a number of different committees, going above and beyond what is expected of them. In particular, it is important to do this so each and every one of them are dedicated volunteers. It is also important for me to thank and acknowledge our Executive Director, Reg Windsor, who guides us along the way, and him and I have a very close partnership in working on very many issues that we deal with and opportunities that come to ArtsNL. And as well, the staff at ArtsNL for the diligent and professional work over the past year. I thank you all. As for artists, the traditional and trend-setting creative arts groups and arts organizations across Newfoundland and Labrador have been passionate in their professional vocations in dance, music, theater, film, writing, visual arts, and multidisciplinary arts. Tonight's event gives us an opportunity to celebrate just some of that creative activity. Their work in the arts and culture sector is important to the provincial economy, as well as preservation and education. It also provides a rich array of thought-provoking experience for residents and guests to the province, created by our hardworking professionals. Newfoundland Labrador's professional artists also have represented us with pride in our local communities across Canada, across the country, North America, and in many international events. Their work lives to educate us through experience, engagement, reflection, and inspires us to discover new points of view. ArtsNL is happy to have partnerships to do this. We're fortunate to enjoy collaborative affiliations with many partners, some of those recognized this evening through their various awards categories. BMO Banquet in Montreal, of course the CBC, and Memorial University. The CBC, again, has stepped up this year to provide support through their archives and editing of the video packages that will be shown this evening. We are most grateful for their participation and partnership. We look forward to continuing with the collaborative relationships with our corporate partners in years to come and appreciate their ongoing involvement with ArtsNL. I must also recognize the financial allocation received from the government of Newfoundland and Labrador, as well as support from the department and department staff. Without it, the meaningful and indispensable work of ArtsNL would not be possible. The operating program funding provided by the Department of Tourism, Culture, Industry, and Innovation under Christopher Mitchell-Moore and the Department of Education and Early Childhood Development's Cultural Connection Strategies, along with other partners, Stad Oil and the Newfoundland Labrador Teachers Association, makes it possible for us to deliver over 200 arts, help for over 200 arts organizations, individual artists, community groups, and schools to move forward with their creative endeavors, thanks to $1.6 million in being issued in grant funding. In conclusion, last but not least, I want to thank the Arts Awards Committee, members of the skilled team, and the efforts of the team put together this evening's program. Thank you for that. And congratulations to all the finalists and award recipients. At this point, you are all winners in my view. And thanks everyone for coming, and enjoy tonight's event.
Mr. Sam Hill, ladies and gentlemen. Every year, ArtsNL issues a public call inviting artists from across the province to forward their proposal for artwork that could be used at this event to award each of tonight's honorees and winners. This year, the selected artist was Stephanie Smith. Let's take a look at the screen now to learn more about her work.
Stephanie Smith is an Ontario-born artist now based in St. John's. She earned her BFA from Memorial University in 2007 and completed the ceramic certificate program at Halliburton School of the Arts in 2011. Stephanie's current work explores alternative firing techniques with a special focus on pattern, ornament, and surface treatment. Smith has created a series of 6 ceramic tiles inspired by her Clearing the Ashes series. The collection of tiles highlights the connectedness of the arts sector and the Newfoundland and Labrador cultural identity. Of the work, Stephanie says, every artist being honored at this awards gala is being recognized for their unique contributions to the arts sector, and through this, they are being embraced by a beautiful community of highly skilled, talented, and one-of-a-kind creators.
The Arts Award recognizes a person, business, or organization that has demonstrated an ongoing commitment to the arts in Newfoundland and Labrador through innovative, community, or sustained support of artistic activity. I'd like to invite the ArtsNL Co-Vice Chair and Business Representative Christina Parker to the stage to present our first award of the evening, the ArtsNL Patron of the Arts.
Thank you, Bailey. Throughout history, patronage has been one of the most important elements in fostering the development of the arts. Patrons are leaders in their communities who show by example the importance of supporting creativity. The Newfoundland and Labrador Credit Union has had a presence in Newfoundland and Labrador communities for more than 60 years. They have actively supported arts groups in Newfoundland and Labrador communities, and they sponsor the literary prize, the Fresh Fish Award, who's this year's recipient, Matthew Howell, is in our presence this evening. So that was great that you could be here tonight too, Matthew. It's my honor to announce that the recipient of the 2017 ArtsNL Patron of the Arts Award is the Newfoundland and Labrador Credit Union. Now let's take a look at their video profile.
Whether it's a local theater production, concert, visual art exhibition, dance performance, or a writer's retreat, empowering local artists and arts organizations has always been one of Newfoundland and Labrador Credit Union's primary goals. NLCU is a major sponsor of the biannual Fresh Fish Award for Emerging Writers, which provides writers with financial support necessary to grow their craft and professional skills. Ensuring children have access to the arts is another chief concern for NLCU. Each year, it sponsors the Tuckamore Music Festival's children's concert, as well as various theater groups, musicals, and Kiwanis music festivals throughout the province. It also supports emerging authors by helping fund Piper's Frith Writers Retreat, which pairs aspiring writers with experienced local professionals. NLCU is proud to offer its continued support to these talented individuals and organizations.
It's now my pleasure to welcome Mr. Tony Young, Director of Wealth Management Services, Newfoundland and Labrador Credit Union, to the stage.
Thank you. Right, so in the interest of full and plain disclosure, I was given a script to read. Now the good news is it was put on a Word program, not PDF, so I have edited it. Funny enough, Bailey, you were mentioning, some shopping things. My family, I grew up in St. John's, but my family are from Twillingate, down the northeast coast. And I have two children, 11 and 13. And the highlight of their trip to Twillingate and their, quote, shopping experience is actually going to Riffs. So I've got an 11 and a 13-year-old who for the last 13 years, quite frankly, have been fitted out at Riffs, and they don't know any better. And the folks down there sort of laugh at me. They go, Tony, we die, you come from town, and you buy all your kids' clothes down here at Riffs, and all the folks from Twillingate go to town and spend all sorts of money. I'm like, well, no sense in that. I don't get that. But anyway, there it is. Mr. Leto, Your Worship, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the opportunity to be here this evening. And on behalf of the Credit Union, Newfoundland Labrador Credit Union, I'd like to say a huge thank you for being recognized as a patron of the arts. At NLCU, we certainly take pride in our commitments to the arts community, both locally and in this great province of ours. I can say without hesitation, we are very proud to offer our continued support for the arts community and to help with your very specific mission in the creation and enjoyment of the arts for the benefit of all Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. Personally, I'm very proud to be a part of an organization that encourages its team members to contribute to the arts. I can say this is very much my first-hand experience, as I've spent about 8 years working with the Tuckamore Festival myself, and I take great delight in seeing all the young aspiring artists there. And there's just so much, we have just so much talent in this province. And it's a strange thing, but we take it for granted, but it's a really amazing thing. Newfoundland and Labrador's history of storytelling and artistic expression is the cultural essence of our province. There's no doubt about that. We value creative expression. It's an integral part, and it makes us very much who we are. At NLCU, we continue to support the arts community because it's a community that fosters our heritage, our creativity, our passion, and our excellence. And I'd suggest to everyone here this evening that's something we all should strive to do in each and every day of our lives. The business and arts communities must continue to work together to ensure that the arts remain dominant so as to continue to play a significant role in our lives, and the culture of this great province of ours. I would be remiss if I did not mention to give a huge shout out to all of this year's nominees and all of the award recipients for all of the incredible contributions you have made to the arts community in our province. Congratulations to each of you and to each nominee as well for a job well done and for all that you give back to your organizations. Thank you very much.
You know, I really stressed about those jokes, right? Like, I didn't want to make any mean and nasty jokes. I thought about some, but I said, I'm not going to be mean and nasty. And I know, like, Riffs is like a local chain, too. I said, it's not possible, right? Like, Mr. Riffs is not going to be here tonight, is he? I don't want to offend anybody. Anyway, I'm glad to hear business is doing well down in Tullagate. I have the great fortune of playing 2 roles here tonight, so now I'm going to take off my host hat and put on my presenter pants, and I'm going to present an award. As one of 2 co-hosts on CBC Radio's Labrador Morning, I'm so pleased to represent our national broadcaster to present the CBC Emerging Artist Award, which recognizes new and undisputed talent. It is awarded to an emerging artist, group, or arts organization that has earned significant recognition for a piece of work or a generally outsized impact on the scene. Let's take a look at this year's finalists.
Sharon Bala's Globe and Mail best-selling novel, The Boat People, hit store shelves in January of 2018 and is now available worldwide. The Boat People has had an enormous impact on the Canadian literary scene, securing long list recognition for Canada Reads. The book earned Sharon the Percy Janes First Novel Award in 2015, and she has been awarded ArtsNL professional project grants in the past to develop her work. Her short story, Misolaf, received an honorable mention in the National Magazine Awards for Fiction, and 2 of her short stories are included in the prestigious Journey Prize Stories collection, and she is also a 3-time recipient of the Newfoundland and Labrador Arts and Letters Award. Her short fiction has appeared in Hazlitt, Grain, Prism International, the Dalhousie Review, the New Quarterly, Room, Riddle Fence, and in a collection called Racket, New Writing from Newfoundland. Persistence Theatre Company burst onto the scene under the confident and competent leadership of Jen Dion with a full season of work. Their inaugural production revived playwright Robert Chaffe's Isle of Demons, a script that enjoyed a rural production history and had not been performed on stage in St. John's. Directed by Jen Dion, the play is about Marguerite de Roberval, who was marooned by her uncle on an island off northern Newfoundland in 1542 for daring to love a sailor. In the end, she persisted and survived. Persistence continued to demonstrate its commitment to Newfoundland and Labrador theatre canon by producing Bernie Stapleton's Offensive to Some, directed by Ruth Lawrence. Their feminist mandate, commitment to local work, and interest in producing theatre about contemporary issues, along with leadership and outreach to members of the theatre community, is timely and important. They're launching emerging artists, employing established artists, and creating opportunities for collaboration. Persistence Theatre Company has already made an indelible mark on the provincial arts sector in their first year. It's been a big year for April White, whose work focuses on watercolors and animations based in her downtown St. John's studio. She won the 2017 Excellence in Visual Arts Emerging Artist Award from Vanel Carfax. Her installation, It's Okay to Be Tired, provided a multi-sensorial resting place in public space and was featured at the Hold Fast Contemporary Arts Festival in St. John's and at the Arts in the Open Festival held in Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island. April has also featured her own likeness in her work, serving as her own model in pieces like Sneeze. Her work highlights our everyday with an honest, unfiltered, and direct gaze. April has been published in the Newfoundland Quarterly, Riddle Fence, Home and Cabin magazine, and appears on the cover of Maggie Burton's Hands That Knew Heat publication. In addition, her contributions extend to chairing the board at the St. Michael's Print Shop and teaching watercolor painting and drawing at the Anna Templeton Center. April has also exhibited at the Rooms and is a past Don Wright Scholarship recipient.
The winner of the 2017 CBC Emerging Artist Award is Sharon Bala. Sharon couldn't be with us tonight, so I am accepting this award on her behalf, and I'll ask for another round of applause for Sharon. The Memorial University Arts and Education Award recognizes an artist who has made an outstanding contribution to arts and education in Newfoundland and Labrador over a period of years. I'm pleased to introduce you now to the Labrador Institute's Coordinator for Labrador West, Ms. Karen Paulefeuer, to present this award.
Thank you, Bailey. I'm so honored to be here this evening representing Memorial University and to present the Arts and Education Award, which Memorial is very proud to sponsor. And personally, I'm delighted to be here with you all as we celebrate the many ways Newfoundland and Labrador artists, supporters of the arts and arts organizations, contribute to the culture and heritage of our province. Memorial is very proud that our alumni have been well represented among recipients of prestigious Arts Newfoundland Awards over the years, including percussionist Professor Rob Power, who was a recipient of the Arts and Education Award, choral music conductor Kelly Walsh, who was awarded the Emerging Artist Award, and Dr. Jean Bruno and the late Dr. Agnes Bruno, longtime friends of Memorial, who were both awarded the Patron of the Arts Award, to just name a few alumni. We're delighted to be able to support and honor individuals like these and others as they pursue their creative passions. The Memorial University Arts and Education Award recognizes an artist who has made an outstanding contribution to arts and education in the K-12 system over a number of years. This award comes with a $2,500 cash prize and a piece of original art. Now, let's take a look at this year's finalists.
Though Adam Baxter works in the provincial school system, his dedication to arts and education extend well beyond the classroom. As a music teacher for grades 7 to 9, Adam leads all band and choir programs at Lewisport Intermediate, which includes the school's jazz band, concert band, and both junior and senior choirs. He teaches privately to give students a greater understanding of music theory or leading specific instrument training. Adam also spends time with students, helping them develop songwriting and performance skills. A recording artist in his own right, Adam's described as a powerhouse of energetic, explosive creativity. With the aggressiveness of a rock and roller and the sensibilities of a folk musician, Adam's music stretches across multiple genres to provide a compulsive mix of high energy and sweet longing. He's the monthly host for the Open Stage for the Underage initiative in Lewisport, which regularly sees next-generation performers and songwriters traveling upwards of 90 minutes to participate. And Adam uniquely committed to giving his fans a weekly concert live on Facebook for the entire year in 2017. He's released a number of albums, including 2017's Different But Polite, which was named one of the best albums of the year by the Newfoundland Herald, and Clean Hands the previous year. He just picked up Music NL Award nominations in the categories of Folk Roots Artist of the Year, the Nickel Music Video of the Year for Poor Cold Hungry Happy, directed by John Pike. Adam has been multi-category nominated in 2015 and 16 and won the Music Educator of the Year award 3 years in a row from 2014 to 2016. Eric West is a guitarist, composer, and publisher based in Ladle Cove in Notre Dame Bay. He has performed and recorded with classical ensembles, folk groups, and the children's duo Heather and Eric. Since 1988, Eric has performed as half of that duo, and together they've toured through Canada and the US. Heather and Eric have recorded 3 albums and were featured in 5 television specials. In 1996, they wrote and recorded the children's book and CD, Wind Over Dark Tickle. They were co-winners of the Newfoundland and Labrador Environmental Achievement Award in 1994 and recipients of the 1993 Writers Award from the Outdoor Writers of America for the TV special No Small Wonder, done for CBC Television. Eric has composed and arranged music for radio, television, and stage. He has published a guitar method book and CD, 7 anthologies of folk music arrangements of Newfoundland and Labrador song standards, and 1 for children's songs. In 1999, Eric was the musician in residence for the Grossmoor National Park, which led to Grossmoor, A Musical Journey, a CD-ROM featuring music, songs, and images inspired by Grossmoor National Park. In 2001, Eric started the Beni Music Camp, an annual week-long workshop dedicated to teaching and preserving traditional music, storytelling, and dance. Eric is the president of Soundbone Traditional Arts Foundation, which also runs the camp.
And the winner for 2017 is Eric West.
It's a great honor to receive this award from Memorial University and ArtsNL. I have a long association with both organizations. Memorial University is my old university. I taught several years at Mount Extension. And the ArtsNL, I go back right to the beginning. Edith Goodrich and Ken Fitt and all those people who started up that wonderful organization that's led to so many wonderful things happening in the arts all over Newfoundland and Labrador. Like a lot of professional musicians, we all tend to head to the big city, and that's only natural, I guess. But 20 years ago, I moved back to the Bay, to Layton Cove, and that's formed the basis of my activities now. I have no regrets. But I think it's important that the Arts Council has recognized the need for artists to go back to the small places, and through programs like the school touring program and Arts Smarts and the visiting artist program, they've allowed professional artists to come to smaller places and inspire young artists in all these places. And I'm so glad that the Arts Council has continued to sponsor those endeavors. Just like to say thank you to Sandstone Elementary for nominating me for this award. We've had the pleasure of working there over the years with several projects, and we brought in many professional artists from all over the province there. And I'd like to thank my partner in life and arts, Claudia Karash, for working with me and helping me on all these projects. Thanks again to everybody.
This has been a difficult year that saw a number of creative lights dim within our provincial arts community. And so we're going to take a break from our awards presentations this evening to pause for reflection as we celebrate the lives lived of those we have lost over the last year. The ArtsNL Hall of Honor Award recognizes a person, group, or arts organization that has made a distinguished lifetime contribution to the cultural life of Newfoundland and Labrador. I would now like to call upon Steve Malone, a former student of this year's inductee, who is himself nominated for an award tonight, to come to the stage and talk about this year's addition to the ArtsNL Hall of Honor.
It's my honor tonight to share with you that this year's inductee to the ArtsNL Hall of Honor is Jacinta Mackey-Graham. Apologies, miss, you've heard this story like 8 times in the past week, but I'll tell it again for those who haven't heard it. In the 10th grade, I transferred to a new school. I left my St. Bon's uniform at home and went to Gonzaga High School. I was nervous, I was shy, and more than anything, I wanted to be invisible. I would always sit in the back of the class and never really speak up. So when Miss knocked on our door and hauled me out of science class one fateful day, the walk across the classroom felt like an eternity. She said, "So I heard you can sing," and she walked me down the hall to the theater arts room. She then prodded and prodded until finally I caved and sang the opening lines to "O Canada." I thought it would be revealed that I indeed was not ready for choir and any other kind of singing, but Miss Graham's genuine enthusiasm said otherwise. She would go on to call my parents and arrange for me to work with a vocal coach, which I begrudgingly did. And as time went by, I developed a love for singing, a love I always knew was there, but never had the confidence to unlock myself. She ultimately believed in me. She taught me it was okay to develop your talent and be excited by it, regardless of what others might think. She taught me the joy of singing out and of being visible. And this is just one short story. There are countless others whose lives have been enriched and changed for the better because they too were lucky enough to have Miss Graham as a teacher. More than a teacher, but a caring human being excited to help all those develop their craft. Someone who will go above and beyond what is required and expected. Someone whose dedication knows no bounds. Miss Graham has a long history running through the theatre and music communities of our province. As she continues to grow with Atlantic Light Theatre, more and more people will get to absorb the confidence and joy of creating and experiencing something bigger than themselves. I feel extremely lucky to have had someone so willing to dig for the best in me and will forever value the importance of my own visibility because of Miss Graham. Now let's take a look at the screen to learn a little bit more about the Hall of Honor's inductee.
Jacinta Mackey-Graham discovered her love of music while attending St. Patrick's Girls' School and Holy Heart of Mary High School. She would go on to earn a Bachelor of Music and Music Education from Memorial University and a Master's in Theatre from Eastern Michigan University. In 1978, Jacinta started the vocal jazz ensemble known as the Chantels, which competed in and won top prize in CBC's Steps to Stardom competition. The group also competed in several gold awards in vocal jazz competitions at Music Fest Canada from 1980 to 1989. By 1993, Jacinta's jazz choir called Girl Talk caught the attention of some leading jazz vocalists at Music Fest, which helped launch the career of Heather Banbrick,
You and I, a small cafe,
who now works with CBC in Toronto and actively performs there on the jazz scene. At Brother Rice High School, Jacinta directed Man of La Mancha, How to Succeed in Business, and Damn Yankee.
Gary, Indiana, my home, sweet home.
Gonzaga High School saw productions of The Music Man, Oklahoma, Wonderful Town, A Call to Arms, and Guys and Dolls.
Like gives a lot of children a chance to have stage experience. They get to work together as a group.
Choir choirs under Jacinta's direction have performed in Halifax, Ottawa, Toronto, and Calgary, as well as at top international venues like Carnegie Hall in New York City, St. Peter's in Rome, and all throughout Ireland. In 2013, Jacinta co-founded Atlantic Light Theatre with Doug Vaughan. Atlantic Light has produced large-scale productions that include Les Miserables, Sister Act, Spamalot, Billy Elliot, just to name a few. Jacinta has taught voice and musical theater, choral, and jazz studies to many students over the years who have gone on to excel in their careers, such as Tina Madigan, Patrina Bromley, and Stephen Maloney.
What more I cannot wish you than to wish you find your love.
After a 30-year career, Jacinta retired, but she's still active as a music adjudicator throughout the province and maintains an active schedule directing with Atlantic Light Theatre.
And fortune smiling all along your way.
It's my great pleasure to present this award to Miss Jacinta Mackey-Graham.
I'm so humbled and honored to be here at this award ceremony tonight and to be in the big land. I remember my uncle working at the IOC mines, and we never, in the island of Newfoundland, never had a visual of what it was like to be here, so it was pretty exciting coming in here today. Oprah Winfrey once said, "I've come to believe that each of us has a personal calling, and that the best way to succeed is to discover what you love and then find a way to offer it to others." I've always known that I've wanted to teach, to direct. When I was 11 years old, I directed my first musical. It was the Craig Miller Avenue production of the Mother Goose operetta, Summer Stock. My music teacher, Sister Brendan Lynch, had given away obsolete textbooks that year, and at the end of the school year, I proudly claimed the teacher's edition of This Is Music. I remember choosing the actors for the operetta, finding the costumes. I remember the rehearsals. I remember the advertising parade. You had to have a bell on your bike. Advertising was so important. And I remember the performance on the steps of St. Mary's Church. There are no pictures of that production, but I remember every detail in my heart. I believe that as artists, we are here doing what we love because someone believed in us. Someone, a teacher, a mentor, a director, who saw a light in us and said, "You can do this. You have talent." I owe my career and my passion for the arts to my music teacher, Sister Brendan Lynch. She instilled in me a keen desire to learn. Through her, I experienced the thrill of performance, the sheer beauty of choral harmony, the satisfaction of setting goals and then working hard to achieve them. Sister Brendan gave me the opportunity to teach younger students when I was at St. Patrick's School. I was just 13 years old. And isn't that what we all seek? Someone who believes in us. I have been so fortunate in my life to work with incredibly talented, generous, and hardworking singers and actors like Steve Malone, both on the stage with them or as a performer and a director. Helping them discover their light has been a 40-year, soul-satisfying experience for me. I am so grateful that I am part of a community of artists who have shared their bright light and made an impact on the social fabric of this gorgeous province. I'd like to thank those who nominated me and those who wrote letters of support. And also I would like to thank the Newfoundland and Labrador Arts Council for recognizing and celebrating the light in all of us gathered here this evening. Thank you.
Outside of tonight's awards, ArtsNL manages a number of additional awards, including the BMO Wintersat Award, the Rhonda Payne Theatre Award, and the Lawrence Jackson Writers Award. In the case of the latter, it will be a special addition to tonight's event. And to explain more about it, here is ArtsNL Executive Director, Reg Windsor.
Thank you, Bailey. Before I get into talking about the Lawrence Jackson Award, I gotta get my own rich story in there. We're gonna put another plug in for Rich. At some point, I'm probably gonna go after her for a sponsorship. Or actually, so I grew up in Grand Falls, Windsor, the Windsor side of the tracks, actually, and of course we're located on the Windsor side of the tracks, along with Cones. So that's where it all started. And I grew up with my mom buying my clothes at Riss, of course, actually. So another plug to Riss tonight. Anyone else that want to get a plug in afterwards? Like I said, we'll probably go after them for sponsorship this year, so or next year on that. The Lawrence Jackson Award encourages and promotes original creative thought in all genres of writing. It honors the memory of writer Lawrence Jackson. It is sponsored by his family along with generous contributions to the Lawrence Jackson Trust Fund. The award is managed by ArtsNL. All applicants to ArtsNL's Professional Project Grants Program in the writing category are considered for the award. The award is $500, is given out annually, and the winner is chosen by a peer assessment committee. Normally the award is presented at a separate ceremony, but this year we're excited, of course, to be making the presentation here in Labrador City because the winner is from Labrador. Born in the original community of Davis Inlet in northern Labrador, his ancestry is mixed. His mother was Inuit and his father came from Inuit roots. Their family moved to central Labrador in the mid-40s and were among the original settlers of Happy Valley. He started writing in grade 9 at the age of 15 with an essay based on a poem being studied. His teacher, Doris Peacock, was so impressed with the essay that she read it to the entire school and insisted that he make literature his chosen work. Despite that, he followed in his grandfather's footsteps and enlisted in the Canadian Navy, sailing on both sides of the Atlantic Ocean and as far south as the Mediterranean Sea. He's also worked as a deep sea fisher, crossing the Atlantic Ocean 7 times, as well as travels to Greenland, Iceland, the Faroe Islands, Scotland, and Denmark. This life experience has given him a lot to write about, and he is now sharing his stories as an author. Just as Mrs. Peacock had said years ago, or suggested years ago. One of the books is used in schools in central and northern Labrador, and he has another that is just finishing awaiting publication, or is finished waiting publication, also working on 3 other various books as well at this time that are states of progress, different states of progress, and has authored a children's story as well. So now it's my pleasure to welcome to the stage and to announce the winner of the Lawrence Jackson Writers Award for 2017, Alex Saunders. And we're going to be treated to another pleasure this evening. Alex is going to do a short reading for us.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We got a new blue shirt and a new pair of jeans from Riffs. I want to thank the Arts Newfoundland people for choosing me as the winner of this award. A bit surprised, to tell you the truth. I didn't hear anything. I applied for a grant in September, I think. I never heard anything until a couple of weeks ago when Joshua called me and said I won the award. So quite the honor. I'm very honored to be here. I spent over 60 years around the ocean, and I've done a lot of fishing all over the place. And I'm writing a 3rd or 4th or something book about my fishing life. And what I want to read to you tonight is an excerpt from that. And the little thing I'm going to read, I went away to help my uncle fish on the north coast of Labrador when I was 11 years old. And this little excerpt takes place when I was 14. Now, I don't know how good my memory is, but I take artistic liberties when I wrote this. So here we go. Do you have any more water, maybe? I'm going to have a sip of When I was young, I walked behind a man and his wife who was strolling by the landwash to collect dry standing saltwater grass that she would use to create pieces of art. She was an expert in grass weaving, from which she made all manners of wonderful things, like small baskets, miniature native footwear, and other art pieces that she would color with plant dyes to catch the eye of prospective buyers. This artwork was particularly common among the women of the Riglet area, which they usually sold to the International Grenfell Association. The husband, a kind and sensitive man, bent down into the kelp and pulled up something small that was long and narrow. When I caught up to them, they were turning the thing around and looking at it from all angles. "Look here, Alex, it's an old canoe that has been out in the weather for a long time. How interesting. I wonder where it came from," he mused. It was a canoe that was 6 inches long, with a wooden man sitting in the back that was made from the same piece of wood. Most of his features were worn away, but we could see that it represented the features of an Indian man somewhere in Canada or the United States. He had a prominent forehead, a hawk nose, the lower lip and most of the chin was worn away. But I could see the inner strength of the man and the stoic determination in his facial features. His left arm laying across his middle and the right hand gasping the gunwale of the craft were still in pretty good shape. From the exquisite artwork, we knew it was made by native people, and we also knew it was very old. Carved into the one side was the word Osceola that was inlaid with a brown metal. I took a sharp muscle shell from the beach and scraped the metal and saw that it was copper, with 2 numbers still attached with a copper nail, a 1 and an 8, which meant the little man had been around for almost 150 years. What fuel for the imagination of a 14-year-old boy that already lived in dream times and spent most of my free time roaming over the land, sitting under a rock overhang where it rained while dreaming stories. I envisioned traveling to faraway places with imagined images that fueled the mind and would lead to a lifestyle far removed from these humble beginnings. I would often light a small fire and make a smoke using the blackberry growth to make a ceremony that I would use to cleanse myself by bathing my head and upper body with smoke. Unbeknownst to me, I was really preparing myself for the journey that lay ahead, where I would travel to faraway places, seeing things that would be different and strange to my culture. Sometimes in my daydreams, I would see distant sails out on the horizon. I saw a small flying fish skimming low over pale blue water, far away in a hot land. I saw some kind of animal with sharp, long fangs jumping from tree to tree in narrow, winding streets with crowded houses on both sides and brown-skinned people laughing in the sunlight. I saw huge glaciers and blue, purple, high mountains rising straight up out of the sea in a dreamy landscape that later in life I would know intimately. One afternoon, when the work was all done, I was sitting on a small rise, bare to the waist, smudging myself with a ceremonial smoke, when a strange man walked up out of the veil and came to stand by my fire. He wore Western-style green boots with blue jeans tucked in the top. His shirt and jacket were both faded blue denim, and his face was heavily lined and shaded by both the sun and his long hair that fell to his shoulders. I knew him to be a native man from somewhere beyond our lands. He knelt by my fire and took smoke in his cupped hands and symbolically washed his face and upper body to cleanse himself before speaking. But he didn't speak with his mouth. He entered my mind and said, "I have come a long way in that little boat. I have seen many things and lands. I come from a different people in a faraway place and time. I am tired. He paused and looked out over the land, then back at me and nodded his head, and continued with, "The purity of the man's spirit that found my canoe freed me from my journey. Now I can rest and sleep." I saw an old place, birch bark canoes, high teepees, smoke from many fires, people dressed in skin clothing walking around, and the sun sparkling on the water. I saw a boy that put the canoe in the river that took it on a long journey down fast water with land on both sides. I saw the canoe plummeted by big waves out on the vast expanse of the ocean, and a wooden man sitting there being tossed around by the storm. Things floated in and out of my vision. I got confused and scared and thought that my fire had gone out. The man had vanished, and the day was near ending. I dressed and went to sit on a boulder to watch the land filled with a bluish grey haze caused by vapor rising from the hot land. I knew this was a magic time for me as I walked home in a daze through it quiet up to evening. I meandered my way home in a stupor. The pull of the experience was hard to let go, but when I got to my uncle's house, I was clear-headed. I went in and they had finished supper and were sitting around talking in low tones in the soft light of the oil lamp and glow from the moon's reflection on the water. The people just looked at me, and my aunt took me by the arm and led me to the table. She put food in front of me and went to talk to the girl. My uncle got up from his seat by the stove, groaning as he passed by me, putting his gnarled hand softly on my head. The women talking quietly in a subdued tones that soothed my spirit. I ate in a dream, aware or not aware, just looking out the window at the moon's reflection and the path it made on the water. I fell asleep there in that warm, homely kitchen room, sitting at the table. All I remember was Uncle dragging me to my sofa bed and covering me with blankets. It all seemed so surreal. Late in the still of the night, I heard my aunt say to Uncle, "Something happened to that boy today. You should keep a close eye on him." Uncle yawned loudly and grumbled, "He is a boy, growing and learning. Leave him alone. Now go to sleep."
The ArtsNL Arts Achievement Award recognizes a practicing artist who has made an outstanding contribution to the cultural life of Newfoundland and Labrador over a period of years. It's my pleasure to call now to Mr. Graham Leto, MHA for Labrador West and the Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Natural Resources, to bring greetings on behalf of the Government of Newfoundland and Labrador and to present our next award for the evening, the 2017 ArtsNL Arts Achievement category.
Thank you, Bailey. First of all, I want to thank ArtsNL for coming to Labrador West for your awards ceremony tonight, and we certainly do appreciate you coming to the big land, and it's very grateful to have you here. First of all, I want to bring regrets on behalf of the Minister, Honourable Christopher Mitchmore, who sends his regrets and has other engagements tonight, and he asked me to represent him here tonight. So I'm not going to, he gave me a few words to say, but as Mr. Young said, these scripts are open to, modification, so I'm not going to go through them all. But what I will say tonight, we celebrate the achievement of artists and recognize their significant contribution to make to cultural industries in Newfoundland and Labrador, and we as a government remain committed to supporting the arts through ArtsNL. And in Budget 2018, our government is proudly investing over $19 million in culture and heritage, and we are very pleased to do that, and we see certainly the arts industry as a very, very important industry in Newfoundland and Labrador, and we want to continue to support that. Tonight's awards gala highlights the creativity and long-term vision of this province's arts community, and I'm very proud to be part of it here tonight. So on behalf of the provincial government, Premier Bala, and Minister Mitchell Moore. Congratulations to this year's winners, as well as to the nominees. I wish you all continued success. Please keep creating, keep imagining, and keep inspiring us in your work. And it's my pleasure tonight to present the ArtsNL Arts Achievement Award, and we look to the finalists for this year.
Marlene Kreitz is an environmental artist and poet who lives and works in Portugal Cove. She studied visual arts at Queen's University and later moved to Newfoundland and Labrador, the home of her maternal ancestors, who were from Lewisport and Fogo Island. For almost 40 years, her work has explored relationships between human experience, memory, language, and the land, and the impact they all have on each other. Photographed found signs in landscape, and is sometimes commissioned to create signs and markers that incorporate other people's stories about specific places. Currently, her work is focused on the 6 acres of boreal forest where she lives in a relational aesthetic to the land. This includes several ongoing projects, like the Boreal Poetry Gardens, active since 2005, as well as what came to light at Blast Hole Pond River since 2015, among others. Throughout Marlene's career, her work has exhibited in over 350 solo and group shows across Canada, including a retrospective exhibition currently touring the country. Her work has been exhibited worldwide, and Marlene has also guest lectured at over 200 institutions. Marlene can also be found curating exhibitions for others and is an active volunteer with Eastern Edge Gallery and for many others. She has also led art projects with over 2,000 school children in Newfoundland and Labrador. Beni Malone is a dreamer of dreams, an innovator, educator, and purveyor of joy. A graduate of Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Clown College in the US, 3 schools of art in Toronto, and l'École Nationale du Cirque in Paris, Beni has put an indelible mark on professional clowning and circus performing arts in Newfoundland and Labrador. In 1982, Beni created Wonderbolt Circus to create world-class circus-inspired productions with a special consideration to bring quality entertainment to rural communities. In 2005, through Wonderbolt, he began working with the Innu Education Authority to create a circus and performing arts program for their students. His work continues in Indigenous communities today. Wonderbolt's circus show Tricksters was performed at the Vancouver 2010 Cultural Olympiad, and their other shows have toured extensively. In 2015, Wonderbolt opened The Space, an acrobatics and performing arts studio in St. John's. Wonderbolt also operates its own circus school in St. John's, offering summer and after-school camps, all overseen and nurtured by Beni.
And the winner of the ArtsNL Arts Achievement 2017, Beni Malone.
Thank you, Graham. Thanks to the ArtsNL. It's great to get this here in Labrador. I love Labrador. I'm going to be working here next week and the week after in Bigelow and Maccovic. I've been here over 40 times, to every community multiple times, and it's an amazing place. It's the people who live here now, and the people who visit here now too. So it's really an honour to get it here. And I'd like to congratulate my fellow nominee, to Marlene. I remember going to her black box installation a long time ago, being scared to death once I got inside. I'd also like all the other sponsors who've helped Wonderbolt in my career throughout the year, the many years, I guess I should say. ArtsNL, of course, Canada Council for the Arts, and groups like TELUS, and all the other corporate sponsors, which are so important too, which have helped out throughout the years. I've been very fortunate to have a very long career with in an incredible province, with incredible artists, an amazing art community that I've seen grow into a worldwide force from this island, and it's been a real joy to work in that community with the artists in St. John's especially, and across the island and in Labrador, of course. It's been a real amazing ride. many of you are here tonight, and many I've noticed passed away today in that screen presentation, that wonderful screen presentation. They've really led the way in a lot of ways and have created an amazing culture here and continue to create an amazing culture. I'd like to thank all the people who've helped me in Wonderbolt, the board. It's a volunteer board. They've helped me incredibly over the years. All the staff, the performers, the circus performers who've come here have given really wonderfully of their time. And I guess the two people in my life, I wish they could be here now, who've guided me and inspired me all the way through this journey. My daughter, Anna Harriot, who is also a circus performer. She's spearheading a great project we're doing now, which is going to be the St. John's International Circus Festival, taking place in St. John's, September 27th to the 30th. Artists coming from all over the world. Cirque du Soleil will be here, Seven Fingers. An incredible event, so look forward to that. We've been working with the Newfoundland Symphony Orchestra and the École Nationale de Cirque. It's going to be a great time in St. John's, so mark your calendars now. And of course, my wife, Mary Frances White, who won the Artist of the Year Award in 2000, and who has been my rock and my inspiration. Thank you.
Our next presentation is for the BMO Bank of Montreal Artist of the Year Award, which recognizes the art or activity of a person, group, or organization that has made an outstanding contribution to the cultural life of Newfoundland and Labrador in 2017. To do that, I'd like to call on Ms. Crystal Fahey, Wabish's branch manager for BMO Bank of Montreal, to present this final award of the evening.
Good evening, everybody. I'm very pleased to be here representing BMO Bank of Montreal in the presence of so much great talent. Over the course of our 200 years, BMO has a long tradition of involvement in our communities, particularly through our support of the arts. We continue this tradition through our widespread support of the arts across Canada and here in Newfoundland and Labrador. We believe that art, in all of its varied forms, enriches lives and strengthens our society as a whole. We are very proud of our partnership with ArtsNL, and it is truly an honor to sponsor this award tonight. We congratulate all the finalists this evening, and let's take a look at this year's finalists.
Duane Andrews has an exceptional musical ear and an adventurous spirit. He's embarked on a musical career determined to unite genres that seem to be an unlikely pair: swinging jazz and traditional Newfoundland music. The Juno Award-winning producer, composer, guitarist, and international performer's discography starts with the release of his debut album in 2004, which led to the multiple award-winning Crocus of 2006, then Raindrops in 2008. In 2010 and 2012, Andrews did 2 albums with Cape Breton master fiddler Duane Cote. Other notable collaborations include Charlie's Boogie in 2013 with bluegrass guitarist, singer-songwriter extraordinaire Craig Young. That evolved into Fretboard Journey some 3 years later with the addition of fellow Newfoundland guitarists Sandy Morris and Gordon Quinton. Duane returned to solo work with his next album, Conception Bay, in 2015, and released the Mallard Cottage Sessions in the same year with accordionist Aaron Collis. As a member of the children's group The Swinging Bells, he also released More Sheep, Less Sleep in 2015. Andrews is also an often sought-after film score composer, with his music featured in a number of local films, including Relative Happiness. Matthew Hollett is a visual artist and writer based in St. John's. He makes books and other interactive works that investigate landscape and memory through photography, writing, and walking. In 2015, Hollett was an Elbow Room residency participant with The Rooms, where he created A House by the Water. That, along with another work of Hollett's, appeared at the Bonavista Biennale in 2017, presented in a repurposed school building where initiatives to restore the historic townscape and heritage structures are ongoing. His web design business specializes in websites for artists and art organizations. In 2017, Hullett served as the first Newfoundland Quarterly Creative Nonfiction Fellow, and his writing has earned him a number of recent accolades. His poetry collection, Optic Nerve, won the 2017 NLCU Fresh Fish Award, and he won the Prairie Fire Short Fiction Contest the same year. He was also longlisted last year for the CBC Creative Nonfiction Prize and the 2016 CBC Poetry Prize. Matthew will keep busy in 2018 as he was awarded the Cox & Palmer Sparks Creative Writing Award and Landfall Trust Residency. He also just picked up the 2018 Ralph Gustafson Prize for Best Poem. Steve Malone is a balladeer from St. John's, known for his velvet-tinged baritone and expansive range. He toured through Eastern Canada after a debut release with his group The Wandering Kind. The debut also landed opportunities to participate in an international TV shoot in Barbados for Flow Network in 2015, placements in short films, and a slot in a national CBC special. Malone has also gone to Dawson City, Yukon, and is a participant in a singer-songwriter residency program. His solo debut was nominated for ECMA Awards and shortlisted for the Borealis Award. He won Music NL's Rising Star of the Year Award and received a number of other nominations. He has supported acts like Winter Sleep, Hey Rosetta, Amelia Curran, Hawksley Workman, and Bahamas. His latest album, The Memory Game, was produced by Joshua Van Tassel, who's produced Sarah Sleen. In January of 2018, The Memory Game was awarded the Borealis Music Prize. He's currently producing an album for the Cornerbrook duo Bridget and Dahlia and demoing new material for a Wandering Kind release in 2018. He will also be at the 2018 ECMAs in Halifax with showcases at the Folk and Export Buyer stages.
It's my pleasure to announce that the winner of the 2017 BMO Bank of Montreal Artist of the Year is Duane Andrews.
Thanks. I know what you're thinking. Boy, that Duane's really let himself go. Actually, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Chris Bala. I'm the manager here at the Labrador Arts and Culture Center, and from what I can tell, the only person in this room that's never been to Riffs. So, actually, Duane suggested that if he was fortunate enough to win this award, that I accept on his behalf. Over my career, I've been able to present Duane to several different communities I've worked in, over the last 20 years, and to take that immense talent that he is to outside of Newfoundland, to the communities I've been, has been my pleasure. And I had a feeling that's why he suggested me, or the fact that he knows I hate wearing a tie almost as much as he does. So it's a little way of getting back at me. But he sent along a quick little remark for you. Thank you, ArtsNL. Your continued support has been a vital part of my development from the early years through to the present day. I would also like to offer thanks to the wonderful collaborators with whom I've had the fine fortune of being able to work with over the past years on projects, of which many have been supported by ArtsNL. And a final thanks to my home team of Aaron Power and Isaac Andrews Power for the foundation and inspiration which keeps me grounded and growing. So on behalf of Duane, thank you so much for this.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our Gala Awards. Round of applause again for all the nominees and winners. On behalf of ArtsNL, I'd just like to thank you all for coming, and again, especially people who had to travel a long way to get here. We know what that's like, and we appreciate it. So thank you so much for coming to Labrador City tonight. We do invite you to join us for a reception just outside. We can keep the Riffs Love Fest going. Who knew? And I think you're right, you do need to get them to sponsor, because this has been like a free advertising bonanza. So please, join us outside and we'll keep the celebration going. Thank you.